very concerned about their grandmother because she was the matriarch of the family. She said, "I'm so glad you're here, Dr. Hapi." She barely could talk because when she had the stroke, it affected her talking, it affected her breathing, and she could not walk, Janice. She could not walk when I got there. They had to put her on a four-wheeler and push her to the washroom, push her back to the front, the couch, and help her get on the couch because she couldn't walk after having the stroke. So I take this water that I just ran from my machine with me. I had her start drinking the water, and I found out that what she had been drinking was bottled water, and she was drinking 7-Up. Drinking 7-Up, Janice. She had a whole case of 7-Up under her bed. Now, if you were to drink anything, 7-Up would not be the best thing to drink.
Right.
Or Mountain Dew, because they did research down in Virginia, and they found out that all the children were getting cavities and they were getting spots on their teeth because the Mountain Dew was stripping out chemicals of their teeth. So this grandmother who had a stroke, who was drinking the water, who had the 7-Up bottles under her bed, I told her, I said, you can't drink the 7-Up because that's what aided you in having the stroke, because the pH of 7-Up is about 2.5, meaning that the pH of the 7-Up is so acidic that it will rob alkaline out of your body and rob oxygen out of your body.
Wow.
It will rob oxygen out of your body. When your heart does not have oxygen, your heart has to beat faster, heading you toward hypertension and high blood pressure.
Well, I've seen on television, not television, years ago, I remember, being in, Texas and, just these mechanics or whatever have you. I remember one time on my dad's old truck, there was this guy who basically was just showing little things to my brother and my dad about cars, and he was like, if your battery acid ever like corrodes like the wires or something like that on your battery, you pour a warm Coke and it will eat away the battery acid off the wires so that you can start the car again. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. And I was like, well, you mix it with something? And he pulls out just a Coke that hadn't been in the fridge, a regular can of Coke. And there were, of course, like old trucks, they have the battery acid that may have leaked out of the thing or got on the wires. And it literally cleaned the wires on the inside of this truck. And in my mind, although, we didn't grow up, my mom wasn't against it. She just didn't buy it. She wasn't really interested. And we grew up, and even as an adult now, I've never had a cavity in my life, and neither has my brother. And it's really interesting, growing up, there were so many kids that had, like, the calves and toothaches and teeth falling out. And when I look back at it, I had to believe it probably had something to do with the pops and the juices and different things like that,
Yes. So, with my brother, when my brother started drinking this water, his health improved totally. With this elder, who I went to give her the water to drink, who had had the stroke, an hour after she had drinking the water, she was able to get up and walk. She was able to get up and walk, Janice.
Wow.
From having a stroke. That's what the water did to her nervous system. It restored her nervous system so she could walk again. I had a meeting with her family, all 40 members, and I told them that the water you drink was the most important thing you can do. and that if you didn't know about water, you need to learn about this water, because you could change the state of your health if you knew about water and could drink the healthiest water. Well, when I first got there and I brought the gallon container of the water, they said, well, what is this doctor going to do? Where is the ambulance? How come you didn't bring the ambulance with it? I said, well, I understand the chemistry in the body, and we need to work with the chemistry to get you healthier. And after I explained to them, then they had a greater understanding of the water, a greater understanding not of just water, Janice, but the chemistry of our bodies. That when you can get the healthiest water, you can remove the toxins in your body, which would help your organs to get better, help your systems to get better, and help your body to get better. So then I had another case that really gave me the understanding of this water, Janice. I had a case of a patient that had sickle cell anemia. Did I mention to you about that, Janice?
Yeah, I did, but I'm pretty sure the listeners that haven't heard before want to hear it because it was really, really interesting.
Okay, let me just mention that particular case. I had this father who was a priest. He came to see me this one day, and he was having a sickle cell anemia crisis. Now, sickle cell is a disease that happens to black folks. African American people have that disease of sickle cell, which is a cell that when it becomes sick, the shape of the cell turns into an oval shape instead of a round shape. So when these cells are moving through your bloodstream, they can't get through your joints very well. And so what happens, the cells, they break up. And as these cells break up, they cause an extreme amount of pain. The average person who has sickle cell anemia dies by the time they're 40 years old. So this father, this priest who's about 60, he has been having sickle cell crises for some time. And when he has the sickle cell crises, he has to go to the emergency room at the hospital. And when he goes to the emergency room, they give him morphine because the pain is so bad. He told me of one experience that he had when he went to the hospital to get the morphine, in which the personnel at the hospital, the nurses and the doctors, did not want to give him the morphine because people who have sickle cell crises become addicted to the morphine. So now they see and treat you as a drug addict. So when you come to get this emergency medication of the morphine, they don't want to give it to you.
Wow.
So he goes to the hospital. He's having the crises. He's on the floor begging for the morphine. He's a priest. They still wouldn't give him the morphine.
You're kidding.
So he came by the office. He was having the crises, and he was on his way to the emergency room at the hospital. So my associate, he said, why don't you come in and see Dr. Hapi to see if he can help you? He said, my pain is so bad. He said, I can't take the chance of coming in to see if Dr. Hapi can help me, because if he cannot help me, I won't be able to drive my van to the hospital. I would not be able to get back to my van. The pain is so bad. So my associate said, well, why don't you come into the clinic to see Dr. Hapi anyway? Maybe he can help you. He said, okay. So he came into the clinic, and he was sitting there waiting on me. So I had brought some of this water to the clinic with me, Janice. I gave him an 8-ounce glass of this water. I asked him, I said, would you drink this water, see if it can help you while I'm working on some other clients, and I'll be with you in a few minutes. So he said, okay. He started drinking the water. About 20 minutes, I had worked with the client that I was waiting on, and I came back. And I brought him another glass of water. I say, drink this 8-ounce glass of water while I'm working on some clients, and I'll be back with you in 20 minutes. He drank another 8-ounce glass of water, and he was thinking, well, Dr. Hapi should get to me soon. I'm in an emergency pain pattern. I'm in an emergency state right now. I told him I'll be back with you in a few minutes, and I went and saw some other clients. And I came back about 20 minutes later, gave him another 8-ounce glass of this water. He said, how soon are you going to see me, Dr. Hapi? I've been waiting for an hour. He said, well, we have you drinking this water that we know can help you. We want you to have just a little bit more patience as we prepare to see you. I say, I'm finishing up with some clients. Have another glass of water. So by this time, he's had 4 8-ounce glasses of water, which is a whole quart of this water. This is now an hour and 20 minutes later, Janice. So I come out to see him. I say, how are you doing? He says, well, I've been waiting to see you for an hour and 20 minutes. He says, I'm still in pain. Can you see me? I said, well, come in the room and let's see what's going on. Let's start working on you. So I brought him in the room and we examined him and started working on him. So about 40 minutes later, Janice, we're finished with him. I asked him, I said, how are you feeling? He said, I'm feeling 65% better. He said, what was in that water? He says, because my legs, the pain has decreased. What was in that water?
Right.
I say, this is special water, unlike any water that you drink. I say, I want you to take 2 quarts of this water home and finish drinking it tonight and drink it tomorrow. And let's see how you're feeling tomorrow morning. I said, okay. So he took the 2 quarts of the water home. He calls me the next morning, Janice. He says, Dr. Hapi, I cannot believe it. He says, I am 100% better. Pain is totally gone. He said, I had codeine in my pocket when I came to see you yesterday. He said, the codeine could not even help the pain. He said, I was anxious to go and get the morphine, but I knew they were going to treat me like a drug addict. I was going to be embarrassed. He said, this water is a miracle, doctor. He said, I want to buy that machine immediately. I know a lot of people that have sickle cell in the foundation that I'm in. They need to know how easy it can be for their pain to be removed, for their bodies to be feeling well again. So I told him that in 2 weeks we would go and get this machine for you, so that your legs can feel healthier than they felt since you were 20 years old. So in 2 weeks we went, we got the machine, he hooked the machine up. I was at a party that his cousin had given just last week, who was 60 years old. He showed up at the party with 3 gallons of this water, Janice. This was the birthday present for his cousin.
Wow.
For her 60-year-old birthday. The present was this water that he brought her. That was the present he was giving her. So now he set up a sickle cell foundation. Now he's starting to get in touch with sickle cell members to come to his foundation, to learn how we can improve them and get the pain off of them that caused them to have an early demise. He is so excited he does not know what to do with himself, Janice.
I could only imagine.
This was the greatest healing he had ever had, just drinking water.
So tell me this. if someone, well, actually, we have a question from one of our callers, or listeners, rather, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly.